Well, Jeffrey, are you ready to introduce our video? I am not. No? Why not? I've got a bone to pick with you. Really? Well, as long as it's not one of my bones, I guess that's okay. What's bothering you? I overheard you saying that I'm your most troublesome puppet. I never said that. Although, considering how you keep threatening to eat the audience, that may be accurate. Did I really say you're most troublesome? You did! You said I'm more troublesome than George or Dr. Jonas. Oh, wait a minute. I remember this. I didn't say you were more troublesome. I said that your name is more troublesome for a ventriloquist. Really? Sure. George the Dodo has no sounds that are hard to say. Neither does Dr. Jonas. Jameson has an M sound, but that's it. You, on the other hand, Jeffrey the Timberwolf, your name has 2 F's, an M, a B, and a W. It's a bit challenging to say. Is that why you never asked me to introduce myself? That's right. Part of ventriloquism is making sure you don't box yourself into a difficult corner. If there's a difficult phrase to say, it's better to have the ventriloquist say it instead of the puppet. Or find synonyms so we don't have to deal with the difficult phrase at all. But I think it's better for me to say your name instead of changing it to Jack the Canine or something like that. Please don't change my name, or I will start chewing on your leg bone. Okay, and now that we've got that settled, would you like to introduce the video? Sure! Ladies and gentlemen, How to Be a Ventriloquist, Part 4. Thank you, Jack. Hey! One of the songs George the Dodo likes to sing at churches is the song Jesus Loves the Little Children. Except he changes it up a little bit. He sings a verse that begins, Jesus loves the little dodos, and then he sings a verse that begins, Jesus loves the little wolves. Honestly, I kind of regret that second verse, because wolves is such a hard word to say and make it sound good. You start right off with that W sound, and then the V sound followed immediately by an S. From the last video, you know that the V sound gets replaced with a hard TH. And hard TH followed by S is actually very awkward for me, especially when it's preceded by an L. LTHS is awkward. Today I want to talk about 2 more sounds. Both of them are sounds that show up in the word Timberwolf and can't be said without moving your lips. The 2 sounds are W and M. So let's start with W. When you make the W sound, you will notice that your lips purse. W. And if you try to make that sound without pursing your lips, you lose some of the punch of the sound. In some cases, you don't lose enough to make it unclear what you're saying, especially if you have context clues. But there is a way to simulate a W sound through a combination of sounds. If you make an H sound followed by an oo sound, you get whoo, which really sounds nothing like W. But the H sound gives the punch we need, and the oo rounds out the sound. If you do it very quickly, not lingering on either sound for more than a fraction of a second, you get something that does a reasonable job of simulating the W sound. So, what, when, where becomes what, when, where. Though obviously I've held on to the sounds far too long. When said quickly, it's what, when, where. At the end of the video, I'll have some exercises that you can do to help practice those sounds. Now let's talk about M. What makes the M sound impossible to say is the fact that your mouth has to fully close in order to make it. So we have to do a sound substitution. We think about the sound and we ask ourselves, what vocal sound is closest to the M sound? And I expect you've already figured that out. It's the N sound. M, N, M, N. So yes, every time you have an M sound, you replace it with an N sound. So, many Martians make music becomes nenny Nartians make music. Doesn't sound very convincing, does it? Okay, so here's where I'm going to break ranks with all the books and tutorials I've seen. I don't make the N sound. We need to break out of the mindset that the only sounds we can make with our mouth are the sounds we use in the English language. We are not limited by English language sounds. I remember what a revelation it was to me when, as a kid, I read Susan Cooper's fantasy series, The Dark is Rising, and in the fourth book, a Welsh character explains to an English character how he has to position his tongue and sort of blow air around it to make a particular sound. He describes it as the one sound Englishmen can never manage. It was a revelation to me that many of our sound limitations are self-imposed. We are sonically more flexible than we realize. So let's think about how you make the N sound. There's a bit of a ridge on the roof of your mouth, just a little bit back from the top teeth. That's probably where you put your tongue to make the N sound. But here's the thing, you don't have to put your tongue there. You can push your tongue against the bottom of that ridge or even against your front teeth. And the sound changes drastically. Listen to this. N, M, N, M, N, M. I'm not making an M sound, but the sound I am making is closer to an M than to an N. Nenny Narshans make music becomes many Narshans make music. When I do this, often my tongue presses against the back of my upper front teeth. It's a trade-off. I'm more likely to have visible tongue movement, but I think it sounds better and is worth it. The general principle here is experiment, experiment, experiment. You're going to figure out what works best for you if you're willing to try different things. Okay, that's W and M. Let's try some exercises. You know the drill from previous videos. Stand in front of a mirror and watch your jaw, lips, and tongue. Note that some of these will include the F and V sounds that you learned last time. Also note that some of them have M and N sounds back to back, as in the word mine. You should hear a distinct difference between the two sounds. Ready? Here we go. Wagging wagons, wagging wagons, wading whales, wading whales, westward wandering wolf, westward wandering wolf, wacky witches watch, wacky witches watch, Wild Willie wants wings, Wild Willie wants wings, who, what, when, where, who, what, when, where, marriage, marriage, macadamia, macadamia, my macho man, my macho man, macaroni, macaroni, mindless midichlorians, mindless midichlorians, make mine musical, make mine musical. My mother makes muffins, my mother makes muffins. Jethry the Timberwolf, Jethry the Timberwolf, Jethry the Timberwolf. Please stop making me say that.